Good morning, I'm John Delano. Welcome to the Sunday Business Page. This morning, the Trump administration is talking trade with Mexico and Canada. We'll ask Dr. Riza Kumarzara from Duquesne University School of Business what that means for jobs and prices of goods. Then, a year after the devastating Hurricane Maria struck Puerto Rico, the death toll is drastically higher than first believed. We'll find out why Pittsburgh's Brothers Brother Foundation continues its commitment to the people of Puerto Rico. And Pittsburgh Foundation President CEO Maxwell King then joins us to talk about his new book on the good neighbor, the life and work of Fred Rogers. It's all next right here in a Labor Day weekend edition of the Sunday Business Page.
This is the Sunday Business Page on KDKA-TV.
And a very good morning to you. Thanks for spending part of your Labor Day weekend with us. Trade between the United States, Mexico, and Canada is back on track again. From verbal attacks to tariffs, the Trump administration is now talking trade, and that could mean that the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, might still survive. CBS's Mola Lenghi has more from the White House.
It's a big day for trade, big day for our country.
President Trump announced his administration has reached a trade deal with Mexico.
This is something that's very special for our manufacturers and for our farmers from both countries, for all of the people that work for jobs.
The deal would require more auto parts be made in the U.S. and Mexico than under NAFTA. It also requires that as much as 45% of parts be made by workers earning at least $16 an hour. Mexico's president was on speakerphone for the Oval Office announcement.
I think this is something very positive para Estados Unidos y para México.
The president said it's not going to be called NAFTA, but instead will be referred to as the United States-Mexico Trade Agreement. President Trump says negotiations with Canada will begin soon, and he threatened to hit Canadian cars with tariffs if a deal is not reached.
We'll give them a chance to probably have a separate deal. We could have a separate deal, or we could put it into this deal.
A spokesperson for Canada's foreign minister released a statement that says, "We will only sign a new NAFTA that is good for Canada and good for the middle class. Canada's signature is required." President Trump says he'll terminate NAFTA once the new agreement is finished and implemented. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
Now for some perspective on trade, tariffs, and what all of this means to consumers and the economy, we welcome back Dr. Riza Kumarzara to the Sunday Business Page. She's chair of economics and finance and associate professor of economics at Duquesne University's Palumbo Donohoe School of Business. Riza, thank you. It's so good to have you back. It's good to talk to you again about trade and tariffs and all this stuff. Let's start with basics. How bad is the trade deficit that the president is always talking about, that the United States has with other nations, and why should we care?
So the president sees everything as black and white, and so he always talks about deficits being, imports being deficits being bad for the economy. But I have a slightly different perspective in that we're bound to have a trade deficit because we're a service-driven economy. Mm-hmm. So we're always going to be importing more goods here than exporting of our services. And so it's actually a function of the type of economy that we are.
So, but the president will argue, and certainly when he was campaigning out here in Western Pennsylvania, and I went to every single one of his campaign rallies, he would make the point that American manufacturing must come back, that we shouldn't be just the service economy that many say we have become, and that the only way we can bring back manufacturing is to protect American manufacturing.
So this is an interesting perspective that he takes, because every country that develops always starts with being an agricultural country, then moving on to mass agricultural production, then to manufacturing, then eventually to a service economy. And no country has gone in the reverse direction, and this is what we're trying to do. But the reason that manufacturing left us is primarily because our labor is too expensive. To try to bring manufacturing back while having the high labor costs seems to be a contradictory thing.
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned that, because the New Mexico American trade agreement. I'm not quite sure what we call that. And by the way, as we tape this show, we still haven't heard whether the Canadians and the Americans have reached a deal. They might reach one this weekend, they might not. But if I understand the Mexican deal correctly, doesn't it require an average pay of $16 an hour to sort of address some of those issues that you mentioned?
So I believe it was at least 40 or 45% of the auto parts must require the use of labor that is paid $16 an hour. But to me, that seemed like a huge concession that Mexico made, because this $16 an hour labor is not going to come from Mexico, it's going to come from the United States.
I was going to ask that question because they wouldn't pay that high of wage rate in Mexico.
No.
So that will sort of guarantee that a certain number of auto parts are going to be made right here in the US of A.
That's correct.
And that, of course, is what the president has said he wants all along. What are the other interesting things about the trade deal with Mexico from your perspective as a professor and economist in this area?
Well, I thought this coming up with a bilateral agreement instead of a trilateral agreement.
Yes, two countries instead of three.
And leaving out one of the most important trading partners to the United States was a bit of a surprise.
Do you think that is tactical in order to get Justin Trudeau and the Canadians to wheel and deal a little better? Is that just the dealer in Donald Trump? What do you think?
I did think that, you know, so if the U.S.-Mexico agreement is in place, then it would sort of force Trudeau to have to come to an agreement almost.
Yes.
You know, and there's also the threat that he's going to face tariffs for the auto parts. And so it's almost like he's been, you know, put a gun to his head and told, you need to negotiate in 3.5 days.
You know, what's most interesting to me as somebody who's not in the nitty-gritty of these trade agreements, but who does care about the stock market. The stock market reacted pretty well this past week to what's going on in these trade deals. So I don't know, maybe something's working somewhere. So, well, Riza, thank you so much for coming in. It's good to have you on the show. We always appreciate your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
All the best now. When the Sunday Business Page continues, 1 year later, the tragedy for the people of Puerto Rico from Hurricane Maria is even greater than we first thought. What Pittsburgh's Brothers Brother Foundation is doing to help. Stick with us.